asking for respect nationwide.
What's going on, guys? Appreciate you guys for plugging in, going live, kind of on the spot, but I'm excited to do it. You know, big weekend in college football. I think it was a phenomenal game for us, Sooner Nation, finding a way to win a game, and really, right? I think jumping a couple of really important hurdles for ourselves in the new conference. Um, just the way I look at it, it feels to me like the SEC disrespected us in terms of who we are as a blue blood and what we mean to the conference and who we are as a university. And I think this is going to be a lot of get back this year in terms of us as a team, a program, and really our players. I think they have a chip on their shoulder to prove and let everybody know that number one, Texas ain't the only big boy that came to the conference. Number two, y'all got to see it. And so um, you know, the Get Back tour started on Saturday. Um, I said to myself, I think this is a great game for Oklahoma to play against an opponent that is talented, that has NFL caliber dudes, but also very beatable. And so, Barry asked me in the post game pod, and I said, ho hum. I mean, to be honest with you guys, to me, it's important that OU makes it very clear that you're going to have a ball game when you play against us, that it's going to be some serious when when you come to Norman, or if we go to South Carolina, whatever the case may be. And so I'm not overly excited. I'm not beating my chest out. South Carolina is akin to a Texas Tech, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I'm saying? On a regular year from the Big 12 conference, South Carolina is not the school where, all of the brass and the alumni and everybody's going to be concerned about the potential, match. But they were a team last year that got us when we were injured, when we were young, when we had transition, when we had really some serious issues going on within the staff and the team, and lack of talent and turnover, right? And so to get that dub and to really let them know, like, keep it a buck. Y'all tug wasn't no tug. Y'all know that, right? That TD you guys got, the referees gave you guys a lot of home cooking, right? They did their best to give you guys opportunities, and then I said it last week. The 22 starters, go watch that 4th and 2. Go watch the 4th and 2. You've got PJ in the game, and that's no. I'm not trying to sound as if I'm trying to diss on him, but the fact is, man, when those key downs, you got to have your guys in. I firmly believe 4th and 2 on their 27 or whatever yard line it is, they run the QB bootleg. They run a naked bootleg to Sellers, and PJ doesn't have the athleticism or really just the wiggle, right? The athleticism within his hips to keep his balance versus RMT, who absolutely does. Cat quick, right? And on that play, even if PJ just stops his feet, flattens him out, and gives the pursuit time to come, we can essentially make the play. And so I say that to say, game is closer to being 26-0 than it is 26-7. And they got some home cooking on that possession. But as a Sooner, right, I think it's just essential for us to take last Saturday and say, hey, listen, we got the dub. Take it personal during the game, and then next week aspire to go 1-0 again. The beauty, the way this thing sets up, I think we have the perfect. As someone said, Mackie, pick the team we have to go against this Saturday as the respective opponent with respect to all of the guys we have left: Tennessee, Bama, Mizzou, um, Ole Miss, and the other one is LSU. I would probably say I would actually pick Ole Miss even over LSU. LSU's had their second loss, or yeah, they had their second loss, and I think LSU's the easiest game we have left on the schedule. I know a lot of people are going to say Mizzou. I'm just telling you, I've watched them play a couple times. The way they run the football, the quarterback and his ability to beat you with his arms and his legs. I think it's gonna be a little bit tougher for us. By the way, they got a pretty physical defense. I think LSU is a team we match up well against. Nussmeier's a guy who I just feel like sometimes comes up as a mental midget. He's going to throw the ball in our direction a couple times, and I think their offensive line can be had. We can dominate both their run and pass game in that game, and I think LSU is the team, assuming we stay healthy and assuming they don't make some huge changes in terms of how they start running their stuff. I think LSU is the easiest game left on the schedule. I don't care what their damn decal says and their university and the guys they had 5 years ago who were balling in the league. Per the guys they're playing this year, sign me up for LSU being the easiest game. But as it relates to Saturday, I love the way it lines up. Ole Miss is another team that's on the revenge tour, get our lick back tour. Ole Miss is a team that has an extremely dynamic offense. They've got an undersized quarterback. He can zip it. He's 5'11 and a half, 6 foot, maybe in his cleats. That means he's a guy. If we get a lot of stuff happening in his face, right, it could be an issue. Also, brand new starter, D2 kid last year. A couple of weeks ago, I said, man, he's a kid that I really liked. I watched him play a couple of weeks back when he came in as the second stringer when the other guy got injured. He was kind of playing bad too. But I like this matchup. They're also a team who's not going to be extremely formidable on defense. They are a team where, as we start to identify who we are, as we start to understand how we want to run our offense, because we ran our offense a little bit different on Saturday. I saw us do more very concerted dual blocking versus combo blocking on a zone scheme where linemen are kind of covering guys up and trying to beat guys to angles and create natural cutback lanes or to reach people so the running back can now leverage people versus there are some runs in there, guys, where our center guard is moving that defensive tackle. That's a gap style running back, go to asses and then cut away. By the way, 49ers ran the hell out of that tonight. It's a good week for me. Last week my Niners lost, and actually, yeah, we lost to the Buccaneers, and my Sooners lost this week. My Sooners won and my Niners won. That's why I'm a little bit late, by the way. I just had to make sure the game was, the game was over before I jumped on 10 thoughts. But we got the dub, and if you watch the Niners and if you watch the game, you heard them talking about the Niners are an outside zone team all day. They didn't run outside zone tonight. That guard was coming across the formation. You know who was doing it a lot too was Kittle. Kittle didn't catch a pass tonight, and he showed NFL why he's the best tight end. He didn't catch a pass tonight. Dominated in the run game coming back. And so anyway, 10 thoughts. Had a chance to watch the game again. I think it's pretty public knowledge now to everybody. Dobie's gone. Wish him the best. It's just interesting, you know, when your team is losing, but you're playing, you're a team guy. The conversations I had with people last year, Dobie's a team guy. Now his team is winning. And here's the part that really kind of irks me. Self-admittedly, the position he wants to play, Cheetah, he's the least talented of the three. Self-admittedly, the place BV has promised him more reps, corner, he doesn't have the confidence to play the position. So instead of being a team guy who, okay, if you don't want to be a corner, which is what he was given the opportunity to get plenty of game reps, he says he doesn't feel he's a corner. He feels he's a safety slash nickel guy. You can't out of one side of your mouth, right? Say, I don't want the opportunities that are going to be afforded to me. And then you out of the other side of my mouth say, coach is not doing right by me. He also, and again, he's leaving, so I'm gonna go ahead and say what I know. And guys, I won't say nothing that's secondhand information. If I don't know facts on facts, I'm not speaking to it. BV said, "Man, you trust me?" He literally told BV to his face, "No," which I respect. I respect the fact that he said it, but I'm telling you, to everybody, the grass ain't always greener. the grass ain't always greener. Now you've got to go to another program, deal with the bureaucracy that's there, deal with the politics that's there. You're going to be a senior. You better pick wisely because there's going to be some other program that the issue here as it relates to he, and I apologize. Me guys, that's not really my place, but I just think this is, one of the dynamics of the university and of college football that needs to be spoke about. The issue is Powers has played well enough to be a guy who they consider to be right an actual piece on the defense. And it's funny because I was having a conversation with somebody and I literally said Powers played high safety against Kent State and did not look nearly as good playing coming forward like a high safety has to do versus a box safety or a nickel safety that's playing like a linebacker, second level kind of a guy, right? The responsibilities are different. I always bring it back to Roy. Roy Lee never played safety. When we were a little league, he was a linebacker. When we got to high school, I played safety. Roy played corner. Roy was an all-American corner. By the way, he was scared to play backer, which was weird to me because he was big, strong, fast. I wish we had put him at backer now that I think about it. When he got to the NFL, he did not play. I mean, a ton of you guys are Cowboys fans. You guys saw he played the exact position he played at OU when he played for Zimmerman or Zimmer, whichever his name was. The exact. It wasn't until right Tuna came to town and said you're really with Tuna what he did is kind of wouldn't say he ruined Roy's career, but I would definitely say he had an impact on his psyche because Tuna flat out was like, if you're a safety, you got to play deep. Otherwise, what do you call him? Biscuit, right? You're a biscuit away from backer. Tuna really wanted him. Bill Parcells wanted him to be a backer. And again, that's a personal thing for Roy. Roy will speak to that. He gets on sometimes at night, especially when I get on this late. But yeah, Powers is really the issue. It's not Kendall Daniels. Kendall Daniels is the guy. He is, from what I've been told, everything they want the cheetah to be, including right being an enforcer. Kendall Daniels checks all the boxes. And I was hard on Kendall. If you guys go back and listen to a couple games back, I'm watching film. Like I gotta tell you, he doesn't look great. I had forgotten he had a leg injury. At the end of fall camp or in the middle of fall camp, he was coming off an ankle or an Achilles, something that was high ankle sprain, something like that. And so, guys, yesterday he was the best second level defender by far. Not even close. By the way, Kip plays well, but he has a couple misfits. If you guys saw, Kip got in trouble and got removed. He misses a tackle and BV takes him out. Heineke has a couple of misses. McKenzie gets beat on the edge. Samuel, again, those guys all played well. Defense played well all game, but Kendall's the guy. Every chance he took, every shot he took, he makes the play. And I think that speaks to his health. I think the bye did him justice. But the other piece is Powers. And guys, Powers knocked somebody's head off again. They try to call targeting and heads out of there. Head across. His head's all the way across. Shoulder is in his chest plate, right? And the dynamic that I hadn't really thought about that, during that conversation I'm having with this individual, he's a puppy. The kid's playing well. He's bigger, stronger, faster than Dolby, and he's a puppy. So that means next year he's gonna be a dude next year. Right, assuming Kendall Daniels leaves, Powers is going to step right into that position, have experience, game reps, the whole nine, versus Dolby, who, his whole ordeal is he wanted to go to the league. So I just think that's an interesting conversation. I know it's been kind of hush hush, but the kid's leaving now, so I think it can be said. I told you guys on my I guess it was the pre-pod or one of those. I had the conversation. I kind of alluded, hey, I want to see if Dolby plays, because if he plays, then cool. But if he doesn't play, I'll divulge what I know. And yeah, that conversation happened last week, and I mean, I think it's interesting. He said to BV's face, "I don't trust you." Like, bro, you don't trust the coach that's creating an opportunity for you to play the other position. That what he said to him essentially is, "Son, I'm going to show the NFL teams that you're versatile. You're not a first round draft pick. So you being on a winning team on a phenomenal defense that can play corner, can play high safety, and play cheetah, I can put you in the rotation to do that. I know you know the defense well enough to do all of that." To me, that makes too much sense. But I had heard, even while he was injured, that the game plan was for him to come back and play a lot of corner because they had Eli was out, and the puppy Gullery had played well, but there wasn't a lot of depth. Who knows how Gentry would hold up? Obviously, he had another shoulder. Saturday, There was going to be reps for him to take at corner and then an opportunity for him to fill in at Cheetah. To me, that just made too much sense. He said it from the time he was injured, and then he confirmed it this week. I don't want no part of corner, which, I get it. He's probably a 4.58, 4.61 game speed, 4.61. He'll probably test high 4.5s, I imagine. And his skill set is his IQ and physicality. His skill set isn't turning and running with 6'3" dudes. So I get it. Anyway, wishing the best. Again, the way the game is played now, these guys are getting paid. These guys are not necessarily amateurs. I'm gonna talk about it. All right. I'm not gonna divulge any information. It's not my space to do that. But once these kind of things have worked their way out, yeah, I don't mind speaking to some of the things people have questions about. And like I said, I'm not speaking on secondhand information. I'm speaking on firsthand information. Let's get to 10 thoughts. Last week I did 10 thoughts a little different just because I don't think it was important to do positions. Obviously, losing to Texas, it was really important to me, if you guys remember, to speak to identity. What the hell is our identity? And yeah, we get to South Carolina. By the way, I missed the first 5 minutes. Saturday mornings, I run a virtual workshop for my business, and I had about 80 people that I was doing some training for. It started at 9. I forgot the game started at 9:45, so I went over like 7 or 8 minutes, and I'm like, oh crap, it's 9:55. I jump on and I see we've got like 30 or 40 rushing yards or 50 even. Um, so I was really excited about that. I think it was really good to see the offensive line have some success, move people. I think it was really good to see the running backs, both of the young pups, get out there and run to daylight, mix it up a little bit, run through some trash. Not necessarily break a lot of tackles, but run through some trash. And you know, Blaylock has a second 100-yard game. Salute to him. X Rob has made himself a formidable, platoonable back. I don't know that he's a backup, but he's definitely in the fold. And I said this before, and it just is what it is. It'll be interesting to see the level of Barnes's injury. Now, if you would have asked me who could potentially sit and be on some type of uh healthy injured I may transfer watch, to me it made too much sense for it to be Barnes. And I don't want to create rumors. I know nothing, but if I am correct, I don't think he played Texas. So if he didn't play Texas and he didn't play South Carolina, who do we play before Texas? Kent State? Did he get a rep in the Kent State? Does anybody know if he got a rep in the Kent State game? Because the Kent State game would have been game 5 for him. Can somebody check that real quick? And I need to give me an assistant or something to check those things. But it'll be interesting to see. He didn't play Kent State, guys. If he didn't play Kent State, didn't play Texas, didn't play South Carolina, and he was a full go, Auburn, Michigan, Temple, Illy State. That again, I think the way the game is now, these are some of the things that the inner workings that happen behind the scenes. Yeah, I know. I played 2 plays both games. I mean, he's a senior, so kids gotta, damn it, we paid you the money. Get your butt in the field. I don't care if you're playing scrub minutes, toilet bowl minutes. Take them toilet bowl reps, brother. But it'll be interesting. Again, I don't know anything. I have not talked to anybody as it pertains to Barnes, but he's the guy who I would have said, with the emergence of Blaylock and with X Rob being a guy who I think they're depending on more. You know what I'm saying? That's one that I think we look at and see what happens, how this thing plays out. If he doesn't play against Ole Miss, I know he was on the injury report, so maybe that's one of those ones they're still working through. Oh, there's no question. And when I get to running backs, I'm gonna kill a rumor. Well, no, I'll kill it right now. There's this rumor going around that like Barnes is this amazing pass block. He's the best pass blocker on the team. He ain't been playing the last couple of games, and the running backs have been destroying backers in the hole. By the way, Blaylock has had some really good blocks. Those 2 youngsters have stepped up and been very confident, very sure of themselves, very physical as it relates to any leakage. Now it'll be interesting to see what happens when they have to chip or one of the tackles need help against a DN or a D tackle looping around, something like that. And can they step up and help stalemate that? Which I assume they can, because both of those kids just seem like strong. Obviously, X Rob, but I've seen both Blaylock and X Rob step up and deliver a punch. Now Barnes still has the best block of the year. If you guys remember, it might be Auburn or Temple. One of them games, he destroys a guy. So I give him props for that. But this is what I see, guys. It looks to me like coaches making the tough decisions. It looks to me like coaches saying we can't just be a team that says we're gonna live and die by the program guy, the guy who comes early, tries hard, and has done all the things right. College football is a game now where there's mercenaries. Some of these players are mercenaries. They are chasing the team with the bag or chasing the team that's a player or two away that they think they're the difference. Zachariah Branch comes to mind. The quarterback that went to Oregon comes to mind, right? There's just guys who like, I want to go to the team and be the icing on the cake. And obviously some guys who say I want to go to the team and be get paid as much as possible. But yeah, that whole aspect of the game is a part of the game. So you can't just keep inferior guys, not as talented guys, not as dynamic guys. And it's my personal opinion that Barnes is a guy who falls into that area. And I think there is some personal relationship between Barnes and Murray, obviously playing at the same high school and being in the program a long time. And by the way, he wasn't just a 4-star, he was a pretty high rated 4-star coming out of high school. And as a true freshman, I liked him a lot. Came in that spring and showed some stuff. But got to progress and get better. It is what it is. We'll see if it's an injury. I know BV. I think BV came out and said it was an injury last week, but he hasn't played his fifth game yet. He hasn't played his fifth game yet. So we'll all see how that thing plays out. Let's jump to the positions. I think the one that we all um, are talking about is the quarterback. You know, it's interesting, guys. If you, whenever I can, if I'm watching a game and I'm not working or something like that, I definitely like, I watch the game. I don't even like going to the games as much as I like watching the games. I have two TVs going at the same time. I have one that keeps it live. I have one that I rewind. In fact, I'll let you guys know I'm getting ready to start DMack's locker room. All right. And I'm going to do a chalk talk once a week and I'm going to do a AMA every week. Um, and I am playing around right now. Again, guys, I got to bear with me. I'm an OG. I know I look young. I know I look like a young lad, but I am an older guy. I'm going to play around, or Barry's trying to help me out with the actual game film. Now I have already queued up a whiteboard. So I will be able to draw stuff up and show you guys play design and how things react. If you guys were watching our member stuff last year, there's an episode we did and they loved it. I'll probably try it out midweek this week. I'll do a chalk talk this week. All right. But I'm gonna be practicing the whole game film and circling things, kind of like how they do live in games. Barry's really good at it. By the way, he had some really good um, posts today on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. Go check them out. He has some really good stuff that he and I talked about on the post game pod. He posted them and he used one of the little apps to draw that stuff out. I'm gonna start doing it full bore. All right, and so y'all pray for the kid, you know, because a lot of people have asked for it, and it's not even DMs anymore. People are all over Twitter like Mac, do it, Mac, do it, and so I said, okay, I'm gonna try my best. Hopefully, I give you guys some value. But let's get to the game. 10 thoughts. Quarterback, I think it's interesting how many people are like off material. And I have my issues with how he's looked post injury. I have my issues with how he's looked, I would say starting Temple. Yeah, I'd say Temple. Um, he missed throws that he didn't miss the first 2 weeks of the season. And against an inferior opponent where he generally had time. And so I also am watching the SEC. And you know what I said to myself? I said, we have a middle of the road quarterback. The Georgia quarterback's more athletic, he has more twitch. He throws a great ball. Um, Good player. He's leading the team in rushing TDs. The Bama quarterback, they run. Doesn't the Bama offense remind you of some of the link stuff we used to have back in the day with CD and those guys? All those in cuts, 16, 18 yards behind the backers in front of the safeties. A guy running straight through the middle of the defense, and another guy running that post dig or that deep in cut, and you just catching it in stride. And you see CD Lamb or Westbrook or Sterling Shepard. Or how many times did Ryan Broyles catch that ball from Landry? Right? Like I remember those days when we ran that stuff. We don't obviously, for whatever reason, we're not doing a ton of it anymore. But Bama's quarterback. I think South Carolina's quarterback. I would even say Ole Miss's quarterback. I definitely would say Aguilar at Tennessee. Um, we probably have a middle of the road quarterback, especially not being fully healthy. But just some facts, guys. He's missed throws. He does not look as explosive as he had, and he just doesn't look comfortable. I would prefer him in our offense with our OC over just about any quarterback. There's a couple of extremely dynamic guys that are just like, yeah, but I think he has felt the difference between a Wazoo and an OU, and the amount of money he's earning and what the expectations are. I don't think there's any quarterback that's healthy right now. If I'd be willing to bet there's every quarterback has bruised ribs or a bad wrist or his neck is sore or he's got a leg thing going on. And I'm not saying Mateer doesn't have a serious injury because clearly he did. But guys, we're week 7 of the season, week 8, right? We're 6-1. We had a bye week. It's the week 8 of the college football season. Everybody is performing with something happening. And at the end of the day, at OU, guess what? We expect you to perform. Do I think he plays substantially better Saturday versus Texas? Yes. Am I excited about the fact that he kept a clean sheet for the first time all year? Yes. Do I feel like we have brighter skies ahead with him at the helm? Yes. But is he a middle of the road quarterback in the SEC? It's also a yes. Lucky for us, we probably have the best defense in the SEC. Lucky for us, we have a 1-game streak where our running backs and running attack look better. But as it relates to, I see somebody saying hand surgery under the knife is a valid excuse. At the end of the day, we've got to play football. That's what I'm saying. Like excuses don't excuse dubs or losses. You know what I'm saying? So like, no one's saying he doesn't have a valid reason. At the end of the day, he needs to play ball and do it well. Like it got, Josh Heupel had a softball sized burst sack and he wouldn't let anybody talk about it. You know what I'm saying? He was not going to let that be the excuse or the reason or the because. And I have the sneaking suspicion Mateer is the same way. I don't think Mateer will say I didn't play well because. I think Mateer will find ways to win. I think Mateer will play complementary football with the defense we has. I hope that our offensive coordinator, which by the way, I have said for the last 4 weeks now, probably, I think he's our biggest issue on offense. I have argued people linemen. I have argued with people the running backs. I have argued with people about Mateer. Those chess pieces were available to us since August. Our offensive coordinator is the individual who has to provide vision, clarity, direction so that people know how to go execute, including Mateer. So I do want to say that. I was thinking about something today. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about this. Because a lot of people have this beating bow beef. And I'm not either. I'm gray. I know it's not cool to be gray, but I'm gray. Like I think based upon some of the things he's done in the past and his ability to recruit, some people are like, we're not gonna keep him because of 2 5-stars. I think one's a 5-star, one's a high 4-star that are 2027 recruits. And I was like, that's not just sliced bread, bro. When you got a chance to bring in game-changing linemen, something to consider. But here's something I want you guys to consider that we hadn't talked about much, or I haven't seen much. Maybe, just maybe, the beating bow who was running the schemes of Lincoln Riley was a better position coach than the beating bow who's been running the schemes of the OCs since. And I think that speaks to the direction, the vision, the cohesion. It might even be the mentality of how they want to get the job done. And I know USC got smacked by Notre Dame yesterday, ran the ball down their throat. If you had a chance to watch that game, Notre Dame, man, did those boys dirty. No Vaseline. But that doesn't take away from the fact that Beatenbow was extremely successful running link stuff and moderately successful, I would say, with Levy's stuff. And then obviously it's been, not as good since those two guys have gone. And so I think part of that is coaching. He has to hold that L in terms of the lesser, in terms of performance. But don't we also have to look at the direction, the schematics, the vision, right? Because that's the whole point of it's like a platoon of military men, right? If that sergeant sucks ass, all of a sudden those soldiers they didn't forget how to shoot, aim, and strategically go into battle with the expectation to win. They were just running under marching orders that were not as clear, not as firm, not as whatever the case may be, right? There has to be an element that says leadership has to hold responsibility. And I was just thinking, I was like, Beatenbow was low-key the best O-line coach in America with Link. Low-key. Right? Like Joe Moore winner, first round draft, like that 17-18 crew, right? By the way, most of those guys are still playing well, starting, doing good, right? And did he forget how to coach? Or is the coordinator and leader not conveying a clear message, not providing intimate direction, asking him to do something with his players different than what they were asked to do prior? Just something to think about. I thought about it and I was like, you know, he no one was complaining about Beatenbow when Lincoln Riley was here. No one. And no one was saying he's the worst college football. Oh, well, I wouldn't say that. That's hyperbole. No one was complaining that he needs to be fired. I would even say Levy's first year, DG's year, right? I don't think that was as prominent as it's been since the last two seasons, maybe three. I think what BV's been here. This is BV's fourth class. Is that right? But what was it? Levy two, Seth one, and then this season, right? Yeah, I would say Levy's first year decent. Or was that the year we went 6-7? Even still. Anyway, I just was thinking about that. But we go back to our QB. He's ascending. I will give him grace. Somebody say somebody he will get fired, and it would take 10. Yeah, he'd have a job in a second. There's probably some schemes that people know if he's available. There's people who know he knows how to run their stuff because he's been on the block very long, and I don't doubt that for a second. I think with the way the team is playing and the way the offensive line has moved, and with some of the recruits he has on deck, I think of the three people are calling to be, terminated, I think he's the safest. And if the O-line continues to do what it did Saturday, I think Ole Miss is going to be an opportunity for them to look good again. Ole Miss is not Ole Miss of last year. I think this will be an opportunity for them to look good again, especially if the defense makes it so that the game is not a shootout. I think the offensive line will be okay. Our quarterback, he played competent again. If I had to give him a score out of 100, I'd say it's a 74. I just don't like 75 because that kind of rounds up to an 80. Some people might be like, that's close to an 80. You know what I'm saying? And so, no, I don't think we want to have him anywhere near a B. I also think he doesn't want to be scored anywhere near a B. I think he has high aspirations for himself. And so, yeah, give me a 74 from a tier. Running backs, I would say best game of the season, including the early season games. Those games really don't matter. They're glorified scrimmages. Playing against an SEC caliber team and having two running backs essentially look good. I don't even want to say competent. They look good. Would you guys agree? They look good. Blaylock looked good, man. He ran a daylight, cut back, beat some guys to the edge, right? Scored a touchdown. X-Rob is running through traffic. He broke a couple tackles, got down the sideline. He almost did what Bijan Robinson did last week, where he tipped up the sideline. He almost stayed in bounds and hopped up out of there. Is it me or does X-Rob look fleet of foot? He looks quick to me, especially for a big guy. Running backs, I gotta say, guys, probably an 85. By the way, I didn't see them have any glaring blocking issues, and I'm sure as they watch film, there's probably some, some conversations, excuse me, language they have with linemen where maybe they miss something. But I didn't see them get trucked or just like blatantly miss any blocks. I watched the game twice. I think it's a solid 85. Blaylock, X Rob. I also just want to tip my hat a little bit to Murray, especially if Barnes isn't hurt and they're trying to like show love to him by not making him look bad, but they're saying we got to play the guys. Like I kind of give him props if that's what they're doing. If next week they tried his ass out there, oh guys, you're gonna hear me talk crazy. If next week they say, oh no, he was injured and he's gonna get 12 reps and 6 carries, I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna be upset. Especially, and I said this on Twitter. Was it me or was this the first game? It felt like the running backs were able to mesh with the line, have some continuity, have some chemistry, right? And that doesn't mean it was all great, but it just felt like there were carries in the game where Blaylock felt like, oh, if we run this, they were running some wham, some dual blocking and then a wham to clean up the backside. They were overloading the play side, and then the tight ends kick that backside in or backside first face, and get up in there and bend back if you need to. It just felt like pre-snap he kind of had a plan because he had gotten enough reps. And then it felt like pre-snap X Rob had a plan because they had a feel for the game. And I just think that's so important. I think that's those of you who play running back, I played running back a few times. Listen, guys, I didn't want to, I didn't like the physicality. I'm not that I didn't like it, but like, give me the ball in space. You know what I'm saying? I got you. If you give me the ball in space, I can make something happen. If you got to make me run 22 power 10 times a game, you know what I'm saying? That was a little physical for me. But those guys get up in there. They mix it up. And it was really good to see. They look like SEC backs. They look like a back that could have been at Auburn. They look like a back that could have been at South Carolina, a back that could have been at did you guys see how bad Bama's backs are? I think we got a better running back tandem than Bama. Right? Give those guys their flowers. I think they played well. The receiver position, Satania's a guy. They told us in fall camp Satania was outperforming Burks, and I think we've seen that pretty much consistently now. I also think Mateer has a much more comfort level. And in fact, I think that's what happened. Mateer coming in, it's just the way it kind of works out, right? Josh Heupel leaves, and anybody who was at the 01 fall camp, by the way, some of you guys may have come to our fall camps. You guys remember back when we were playing, fall camp was open. People would just come out and have a beer, and they had just a little rope. The only thing holding fans back was a rope. People would bring the lawn chairs. Good times, right? But J-Dub had a connection with me and Dre, and Nate had a connection with Kurt and Savo, right? And so it was just interesting that J-Dub looked to the left way more. Nate looked to the right. I think Mateer has come in and just for whatever reason has a much higher comfort level with the route that Satania runs versus Burks. And I take nothing away from Burks, but I'm still waiting for the super explosive NFL dude Burks that everyone has told us about to show up. Satania is a guy who is showing that obviously playing SEC ball last year and being a competent starter for those guys, he's a guy who's showing guys he's our number one receiver right now. But I don't think it's a question. They queued up Fox to him, right? The pump and go on the bubble. And so the receiver position, however, relative to the rest of the conference, I am waiting for one of our guys to just explode and make a big play. Is it me? What's our longest play on the year? Does anybody know? Not including the Temple where Mateer takes it 65 or whatever the heck he takes it on that QB draw. Like, what's our longest play of the year? I don't know what that is. I think it's very pertinent and important to speak about. I'm not going to call him JV Gibson just because he's the only Gibson now that starts with a J. There's only one, so I'm just going to call him Gibson. You know what I mean? The other Gibson quit on us too. I did hear a rumor about that as well, just because it's formal. He was, believe it or not, and I guess some of you guys are gonna laugh, but I've heard from firsthand person, his biggest issue is the medical staff. I'm like, bro, it's a new staff. But it sounds to me like his injuries are such that He's still struggling, but his last conversations out, he was literally blaming the medical staff. And I said, okay, let's just go ahead and turn the page on that whole regime, right? It's probably about time we get these new guys in. And so, if you guys remember, I believed he was going to be the best guy last season. Just coming off the season before, he made some big plays for us, and he had an extra inch and a half on the Nick Andersons and the other guys. But it's the other guy's time to turn up. And so the Giovanni Gibson, looking forward to them putting his skill set to use. I hate that we don't run a fade 2 or 3 times a game. I hate that we don't run a slot fade, line up in 2x2, especially when they're too high, and put both of those safeties in compromising situations, or go from 2x2 to 3x1. Now they've got to balance out, and now we put that backside safety. I mean, there's a lot of ways to scheme up giving your guys an opportunity to run the fade from the slot. And again, I don't want to bring the guy's name up too much because I know he's in hot water in SoCal, but Link ran the hell out of the slot fade too. How many times did CeeDee Lamb, Hollywood Brown, again, Westbrook, all of our guys who were coming through that offense, we killed people. Outside guy runs a smash or a quick out or a hitch, hold the corner. Inside guys 1v1. 1v1. Let's go. You got the hash mark to the sideline to make that throw. It could be a quick game throw. It could be an action throw. It could be a progression throw, a little bit deeper, right? You can have the quarterback eyes down the middle of the field to freeze the safety, or eyes backside to move the safety and then take a peek and throw. It just, I don't know, guys. It's stuff in our offense that I know we have that I don't understand why we never do it. Somebody brought up mesh. Woo! I used to cook on mesh. I scored 2 touchdowns off mesh, man. My freshman year, we ran mesh against Louisville. Guy tried to kill me. By the way, it's on my highlight tape. If you guys go back and watch my highlight tape, you guys will see we're running mesh. Now, I thought I was going to get killed too. Hype slips it in there, man. I kind of turn sideways, get small. Guy runs. He literally tries to shoulder thrust me. I'm in the end zone dancing with Jay Norm. Yeah, mesh is something. I don't think, again, guys, I don't think Arbuckle's offense is remnants of the Link offense. See, Link ran Leach's stuff. I told you guys when I was at Cedar Hill, Link came up with Gundy. Dang, Gundy. But Link and Gundy came up in class. I was teaching math, and Link comes in my room. DMack, what's up? By the way, I did not know him, but I guess Gundy had told him about me or whatever. DMack, what's going on? And I'm teaching, and I said, hey, coach, before you leave, do you guys still run Ace Flip 96Z post? And he started laughing. I'm like, hell yeah, we got to let the play. I think he had said something like Flowers had scored on it, something. So yeah, that offense, I could tell you inside out, but I don't think Arbuckle, that's not the bones of his offense. And so the mesh route isn't something we do. They don't run the slant stop, triangle reach that we used to do a ton of. They have some triangle concepts. And again, when I talk, I'll teach you guys triangle concepts, high-low concepts, double post, how to read the safety, how to read the backer, how to read the overhang, how to read the corner. There's different passing combos that when an offense wants to pick on a player and or highlight one of their players, right? There are things they do, and we do. I see some of that stuff. But it takes me to the O-line, because I hear a lot of people talking about the O-line played better, and they did absolutely in the run game. But there is something that I have to own, because I have been defending it. But after watching the South Carolina game, I actually believe this to be true now. I don't know if our O-line can hold up on progression routes in SEC competition. Well, I'll say this. They don't run it a lot anymore. We ran a ton of quick game. We run a ton of RPO action, but we don't run a ton of real action. And we don't run any full drop back progression. Or I shouldn't say any. We run very little. Very little. And those are those in cuts that you watch Bama tossing and Georgia tossing. Those are those flags and those corner routes, right? Where you're high-lowing a corner and you're flooding a zone and you're holding the backer with somebody through the seam, or carrying the backer 1 or 2, right? And you're reading the corner. If the corner stays high, throw the smash, or you throw the quick out, or you throw the hitch. If the corner stays low, then you throw the corner over the top. That's a progression route that requires the offensive line to hold another half second, and we don't run it a lot. It's why Kanek was getting a ton of catches earlier in the year. That's actually not 100% true because we were doing RPO action. Kanek was catching a lot of plays on up the seam and in the hole on RPO action. But it's the plays. We saw Kanek running a couple in cuts. Auburn comes to mind. Temple comes to mind. Those are progression throws. The offensive line has to take they don't really kick step they used to back in the day, but they shuffle, 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 shuffle twice because they got to create a bigger cup, right? You'll see our guys do a short set, or they're running some type of RPO action and they're just faking or looking like they're running a run play. You're not really seeing us get into the, we would call it 5-step drop back or 7-step drop back in the day. Everybody's in shotgun, so you call it like 2 ticks or 3 ticks, right? The quarterback catching, he has 2 ticks or 3 ticks before they throw. You need those ticks to give the receivers enough time to get to 12 to 18 to run those deeper routes. We don't run it a lot, or we haven't run it. We're running quick sets. And that's why, again, if you guys, the Texas game, everybody's showing that one play that Keegan's like, oh, look, no, that's not the way it works. When you're doing a quick set, guys, you'll never do a quick set and have a progression throw because the quarterback's going to get killed. When you do a quick set, you pick a side. When you do a progression route, it's all open. Right? Quarterback has a chance to scan the entire field, and we haven't been. And it's interesting. To me, what it tells me is the offensive line hasn't been good enough to hold up. That's what it tells me. And so I think that's something that Arbuckle is doing a decent job of covering up. Okay. And that's something we have to hold the offensive line accountable to, because Mateer has shown he can make those throws. He's shown he missed a couple too, but he's shown he can make them. I think that's important. If I'm talking about the O-line and I include Kanek in there, I think, by the way, Helms played decent on the edge as an inline. Helms was an inline quite a bit, 86, I believe is his number. Kent, I think is his name. A Jag, but whatever. But Helms is a guy who I think helps us. Helms has some really good blocks. Helms has a touchdown creating block. On Blaylock's, if you guys go watch Blaylock's TD, guys, Helms is on the edge. He locks that end, or I don't know if it's an end or an overhang, but that last guy on the line of scrimmage, he takes care of that. I think that's a piece that's going to help us. Obviously, he got a touchdown against, I believe, Kent State is who it was. He had the TD against, but quality depth. Helms is a guy. I think he has another year, maybe 2 years with COVID. But Helms is a guy I anticipate as the year progresses, he's going to continue to improve, because as I watch Kanek, even when he's doing his wham box blocks, it's a chicken wing. It's good enough, but he has no desire to be physical. He's going to have to continue to clean that up, because I know there's people talking about NFL opportunities and possibilities. I think he'll test well enough, and if we continue to win, does he have any TDs yet, guys? Does he have any TDs, Kanek? I feel like we need to get him a TD. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know if he's got in the end zone. He's definitely played well enough to garner some opportunities. Was it 85? I thought it was Helms. That's good. I appreciate you for saying that. Yeah, I don't think he has any TDs yet, guys. 106 you guys on pretty late at night. That's pretty sweet. Appreciate you guys for locking in. Let's move over to defense. I've said it 3 weeks in a row now, and I firmly mean it and believe it, guys. Sellers is probably going to be the most talented quarterback in terms of an athlete you have to tackle that we go against the remainder of the year. He made our backers look small, except for Kendall Daniels. He bounced off a couple of our D linemen. Big, strong, agile. By the way, he had wiggle. Did you guys see a couple times that he just got out of sacks just because he was juking people running backwards? I was like, damn, right? Very, 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 very talented. But I'll say it for 3 weeks in a row. I think we have the best front in America. We definitely have the best D line that I have seen. I put these guys ahead of Tommy and Dusty. We'll see how the season shakes out. Like GK was really good, and he had a couple running mates that were also solid, right? The '09 D line, those guys were good, but like none of them were superstars. Tommy and Dusty's group, Dan Cody and Jonathan Jackson and those guys, like that group is probably the most talented. I think this D line is better. If you guys know me, um, I always thought the 2014 was the most talented team. Man, if you could just mix the two '03's defense with '04, because '04 is missing some people from the '03 defense. Um, but the receivers, obviously J Dub, the offense and defensive line, like those are killer teams. I always said they were way more talented than us. I'm not the kind of guy who just feels because we were oldest or because we happened to win the Natty that we were the most talented. I think this D line is the most talented for sure. For sure. Names, um, highly talented, touted, big time blue chippers, big time transfer coming in, and then just production. Guys, 6 sacks. They should have had 9. Remember in the Auburn game, everyone's like, "Oh, what's it called? Holds the ball." Sellers kind of holds the ball too, but Sellers is a different animal than Jackson Arnold. And Jackson Arnold was kind of like a deer in headlights. A couple of those were like, bro, you didn't see him coming. Like Jackson's just standing there ready to get ripped. Sellers is juking and jiving and everything he could do. And those guys are coming, rabid dogs. And I will say this: South Carolina's biggest weakness was their offensive line coming into the game. So we'll see Saturday, right? Saturday is a great opportunity for this defensive line to continue to just emerge and let people know. D line, I don't think I've graded them less than a 90 any game this season. There's no way you give them anything less than a 93, right? We can't give those guys less than a 93. Absolutely not. Talk about dogs. They killed it. The only reason I don't do higher is because of the talent of Sellers and him making some of them look foolish. By the way, this isn't his fault. Did anybody go back? Did anybody go back after the post game and watch the play that I kept talking about? 4th and 2, PJ's in. And I'm just, by the way, PJ's in, Jacoby's in, Hardy's in, Samuel and Heineke are in. I can say my opinion. I don't think it's going to get me in trouble. And if it does, I don't care. I get 22 starters, but on 4th and 2 in a shutout where you're winning 14-0 and your starter is not dog tired, put RMT in. Put Kip in. I want Peyton Boeing as much as I say. By the way, he's not a jag, but he's like a 5-star jag, right? But Peyton Boeing been tackling, coming in the C gap, banana and killing. Peyton Bowen's been playing well in the run game, especially. I think he doesn't get tested as much in the pass game because he's probably where he's supposed to be. But guys, if you go back and watch that play, PJ is there. It's the play where they run some action and then they boot to, I believe, our sideline, and Sellers is 1v1 with PJ. He jukes him out of his draws, and then somebody else comes and flattens him out right at the yard marker. This is what really pissed me off. They give him the first. This the play that initially they say he didn't get it, and then they go back and review it and say they literally were like, based upon review, first down. Like they didn't even, the language sounded fadanga. Did it sound like shenanigans to you too? Like that's shenanigans. The thing that irked me is the foot that touched maybe like 6 inches past the line of scrimmage was out of bounds. So number one, you can't count that foot because that foot's out of bounds. Number two, the ball's in the backhand. So if the foot's up there out of bounds and the ball's back here in your hand, by both, right? The definition of both ways, he didn't get it. You can't say the foot that went out of bounds is the foot that got it and that the ball wasn't where the foot was. The foot's ahead of his body. So which is that whole thing, yeah, the ball was in the wrong hand. It was not a first, that whole thing. Anyway, yeah, oh man, we'll talk about the DBs in a second. I saw what you said about RSJ, but the thing that really cooked me again was if you guys go back and watch the play, because by the way, people were texting me on Twitter like, "Oh my God, man, I can't not see it." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, I can't not see it either." Every time they play, I'm like, "Fudge, why is this down 3rd and 13? Why do we have Hardy and whatever? Like these guys can get reps. I think that's a phenomenal thing. It sells the dream to more guys they want to play. But on those key downs, you got to say, hey guys, we need the guys. It happened against Auburn too, but the play happens, right? Let me tell you what happens. I guess it's PJ's drive. It's PJ's drive. Okay. But after that 4th down, you know what they do? They immediately sub RMT in. The next play, I'm like, bro, you should have subbed him in one play sooner. Just they could have subbed him in one play sooner. I know people have been texting me like, bro, 250 yards, 1 TD, relax. All I'm saying is chase perfection. Chase perfection. Right? Watch film with an eye to get better. What if I was watching that film, there's a ton of stuff that I could heap praise and say we're amazing. And I am absolutely. But if someone said, hey Mackie, what would you do to get that 1.0000010, that 1/1000th of 100%? What would you do? I would say, hey coach, I 100, by the way, in front of the players, I buy the 22 starters, but on 3rd and long, key moments in the game or key drives in the game when it's supposed to be somebody's turn just because we arbitrarily trade, can this one time we put our best on the field? Go back and watch Auburn. I'm just telling you. And I didn't pay attention to it against Texas. By the 3rd quarter, I don't drink anymore. I mean, I'll have if I come to Norman and we do a radio remote live and somebody buys me a drink, I'm gonna drink their drink, right? But I don't go out and I don't even socially drink really. By the 3rd quarter, the drinks was flowing. Oh, you Texas. So my analysis for that was not as good. People say, why didn't you guys do a post game? Man, what the hell you want me to post game about that game about? I did my 10 thoughts and I tried to do the best could to be comprehensive with that piece. But I absolutely noticed it again. Arbitrary turns and drives that are extremely intentional. We got guys who are not the very best we have, right? And I think that's something that the coaches can correct. I think that's an easy correction. Somebody said I just rewatched it. Yeah, and there's also a blatant hold on the touchdown, right? We don't want to talk about that either, right? That touchdown, I think it's Kip. By the way, he puts the starters back in later in the drive. Like, coach, you could have did it sooner. Kip's running through the B gap, and the guy like literally grabs him by the inside of his jersey. I mean, it's and there's two. The way the college game is now, there's two refs or umpires or whatever you want to call them behind the play now. The guy who used to be with the backers, he's now on the other side. So it's they couldn't see it. They were just trying to give South Carolina chances. That shit's cute. But backers, guys, I'm gonna give them a low grade. I saw Heineke miss 2 or 3 tackles. I saw Samuel miss 2 or 3 tackles. McKenzie, go back and watch the game. I think it's the same drive, or maybe it's later in the game. It may be in the 3rd quarter where the game is still in the balance. By the way, next week I'm gonna do my DMack's locker room, and I'm gonna have 5 plays that I'm gonna have queued up, and then I'm gonna go on Twitter and I'm gonna say, hey guys, tell me the 5 plays or tell me the timestamps of plays you want me to queue up, and I'll have whoever responds. If I see a good one, I'll do that. So it'll be like 10 plays versus 10 thoughts. All right. So just be mindful of that. That'll be coming. But it's in the 3rd quarter, I believe. I don't think it's the same drive, but it's like, it's the drive where we're up pretty big, but if we stop one more time, everybody's gonna wave white flags. It's the drive where they finally get their first 3rd downs. You know how we stopped them like 4 or 5 times on 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. I mean, we're just stoning their asses. It's like 3rd and 13. We bring the heat. He gets away, and McKenzie is in pass coverage. McKenzie's a backer. So if you watch the play, they'll show 2 different angles. McKenzie sees he's coming, and McKenzie says, I'm going to invite him to the angle. If you've ever played college football, or if you ever play football, you know what I'm talking about. You don't ever want to give a runner a 2-way go. You want to take away an angle and force him to not have a chance to cross your face so that you can force in the direction you want to go. On this particular play, McKenzie's a yard from the sideline. So I'm like, oh, third and, it's third and whatever it is. He breaks loose. So he's running backwards 8, 9 yards, and then he gets outside of our contain. So he's coming field. He's gained 5 or 6 yards. No problem. It's 3rd and 13. And you can see before the tackle happens or the attempt of a tackle, McKenzie says, I'm not going to give him a two-way go. McKenzie jumps a yard inside of him, turns cockeyed, and invites him to the sideline. It's actually, I'm like, oh, textbook. I was like, thank you. Backers know what they're doing. He misses. Did anybody go watch the play? Oh, somebody, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Listen. MES, you're right. I'm not taking nothing away. That dude is Cam Newton Jr. in the sense of body type. Huge, thick, quick, fast, strong. I'm critiquing our guy's inability to make the play in space. One guy I saw never miss. Yep, RSJ's there too. You're right. One guy didn't miss him the entire game, and it was Kendall Daniels. When Kendall put his hands on him, dropped him every single time. Kendall was the best second level we had. I said this on the post game pod, and I'll say it again. Speaking of the 22, do you know how Mac? I know. Somebody was like, I thought it was cute. Someone said, podcasters' opinions, never been D1 coach, 100%. D1 coach extraordinaire, right? And whatever. I get it. But I'm going to say my opinion, damn it. As long as people are listening, I'm going to speak. If I were BV, this is how I would do it. I don't mind the rotations and letting 22 guys get meaningful reps, lots of reps. I think that's awesome. But to me, the best 11, for real, I'm putting Kendall at Mike. I'm putting Kip at Will. I'm putting Powers at Cheetah. That group, especially against the run, forget about it. Forget about it. The only weakness that Kip Lewis has is he has to play in traffic because he's a thinner guy and he wants to depend on his athleticism. By the way, that's how they pick up the 4th and 1. By the way, that's the play that Kip gets benched. Go watch their 4th and 1 where they put their running back at fullback and they run that dive. They show the purview that shows the gap. There's no gap. So Kip's like, there's no way for him to get through. So Kip just kind of like dives into it. And I said it on the postgame pod. What I believe Kip is trying to do is ensure he doesn't get a yard. If Kip stays back a yard or two, even if he makes the tackle, it's a first down. Make sense? So and I'm assuming, I don't know. But what I think Kip does is says, hey, there isn't any way for him to go. So let me just get in the pile and push the pile. And then the running back squirts out. Right. And boom, it's a 39-yard gain. I think RSJ or Peyton, one of those guys, tackle him. Right? It's the only weakness Kip has. I mean, obviously he's not perfect, right? He's not an All-American today. He'll have one more year to see what he can do going into next season. But very, 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 very good college basketball player. Backer. Kendall, again, I was watching him like I told Barry, I said, I think Powers is playing better than him. Auburn's long run is Kendall. They run an inside zone, it's an inside zone. It's not a power. They run inside zone, and they've got a backside guy bleeding through, but a Kendall's leaving air. That's how the running back gets through. And they have 40, 50-yard run, 30, 40-yard run at the house. The longest run of the game, it's Kendall Daniels. And then I was told, like, yeah, Mac, he's had the leg injury, the ankle injury against South Carolina. Guys, I'm just telling you, I know he tested well. I bet his grade was in the 80s or 90s for sure. I don't know how he did in his pass assignments, but I do know they primarily had him as a second level defender. Did you guys notice he wasn't playing a lot of deep cheetah? He was playing like a backer. A Sam is really what he was playing. He was playing the Sam backer position, like Roy played the will when he played his. But yeah, definitely played well. Backers as a whole, guys, worst game of the season for sure. Penalty out of bounds, which I think that was a joke. I get it. Kids out of bounds and he threw them down, so I understand it, but that's ticky tack. I'm talking about Owen Heineke's. McKenzie has a bad miss. Kip has a couple bad misses. Kip has a freaking safety. It's not a safety. They would have gave him the ball at the 1, but Sellers shake somebody off who gets through it. Stone or Dom or Jaden, one of those guys. They get through. Sellers shakes him off, and Kip is knifing through at like the 1 yard line. I'm like, oh, it's about to be a 7-yard sack. He missed him. He couldn't get him down. Right, stud. 74. 74, and I think it's lower if not for Kendall. And I say that knowing those guys stuffed the run all day. By the but the D line was killing. Did you guys see Wine when he killed that 4th and 1? Knife through those. They had 6 old linemen in, and he knifed between that second tackle, the third tackle, I guess. Did you guys see Jaden on another 4th and 1? He takes on the blocker and grabs the running back with one hand, and then everybody cleans it up. The D line is nasty. I want to talk about the corners and the safeties. RSJ is this is what I believe. I believe the DBs have been told to just not give up the big play. And so I believe they are playing almost passive, definitely softer, so as to make sure everything stays in front of them. Now, that being said, Boganowski should have caught a punt return for an interception. Should have been a punt return for an interception. The awareness is absolutely atrocious. Someone else has one going into the end zone where it's unacceptably bad not looking back for the ball. I don't understand what's happening. I don't understand the technique being taught in practice where our guys don't look back. Now, let me explain something to you guys in terms of tech, right? Generally, this is how man versus zone is taught. If you're in man coverage, you turn and trail, chase eyes, follow hips, chase eyes, ball comes, turn into the receiver. So if the receiver's on the sidelines this way as the DB, you don't run and run this way like the receiver does. You run, chase hips, watch eyes, right? And then when ball comes, you turn into the receiver. And by the way, that's why a lot of DBs get PI all over college and NFL because they're taught to turn into. And if it's an underthrow or the receiver's a good actor, right? They can flail, and that's why a lot of PIs happen. Here's my issue. We don't play a ton of man. We play a matchup zone. We play quarter some. It looks like a cover 2 shell. The corners carry. Again, I'll chalk some of these coverages so you guys see it. We'll line up pre-snap corners at 3 or 4, but they're bailing out of there. They're in quarters. All right. Safeties can sit and rob, or safeties can bail too. Okay. Or we'll play a 3 matchup. We'll start in a shell, and one of the safeties will roll into take away in cuts and take away the intermediate stuff. But it's still a cover 3 zone. We're not chasing guys across the formation. Go watch the game and ask yourself how many times during the game when they went in motion across the formation, a guy ran with them. It's very, very rare. It's very rare, which means so the difference in technique. If you're in zone technique and the ball's in the air, you're supposed to turn back to the ball like a receiver. You're not supposed to turn into the receiver. You're supposed to run. You should always be, there's a thing called your upfield shoulder. If I am in cover 3 and I have deep third responsibilities, I need to protect my upfield shoulder. That means, and obviously right at the college rank level, it's significantly harder to do, but the technique doesn't change. If I have upfield shoulder, my shoulder should stay in front of him and push him to the sidelines. And I should look back for the ball like a receiver looks back for the ball, which means we should catch more damn picks. That's coaching. And I don't know who's the DB coach. Valai and Daniel Hall too. Hall, you got to get Boganowski. Boganowski just want to hit people. Hey, bro, when you playing deep safety, right? You gotta respect the responsibilities of the deep safety. You chasing bomb hits. Hey, bro, get a couple picks. Wine looked more natural catching the ball. Am I tripping? Did y'all notice that? Didn't Wine look damn natural catching that ball? We're like, man, our guys look like they're scared. They're afraid to catch the football. They don't want no picks. They could have had 2 picks Saturday. They should have had 2. But yeah, guys, zone technique, they should be turning back with upfield shoulder in front of the receiver, ready to put their foot in the ground if they need to change direction. Man, they should be turning and running and trailing the receiver. Eyes on hips. The reason it's eyes on hips because they might give you some juice with their shoulders, but the hips can't move until they're ready to turn. When the hips turn is when you're really turning, and then you watch their eyes. When their eyes open or hands go up, your hands go up, and you turn into them. I don't have as much issue with that. I have a ton of issue when we're in zone, and number one, we're getting beat. Why the hell is the man 2 yards behind you? That's for one. You 12 yards back. You got deep thirds, bro, or you got deep half, man. Come on, dog. And it's not this the inside receiver. It ain't the outside receiver. I can get the safety getting beat by the outside receiver because the corner didn't carry. That's hard. When teams hit on that, I ain't tripping. But the number 2 receiver gets behind you. What are you looking at? Those of you who play DB know DBs go from, if you're a safety, you read 2 to 1. 2 was the inside guy. How'd the inside guy get behind you? He's your first read. Yeah, bad game by the DBs. Bad game. Were they? I think they were the worst position group just because the offensive line was able to run block. I think our DBs were the worst position group. RSJ did not have a great game. Gentry goes down. I will say this. Go back and watch it. The puppy, number 12, he got a turnover. Pissed me off. We should have got another TO. Last minute of the game, they throw a hitch, and he tackles the football. The receiver catches it, takes a step. He tackles the football. And live, you could see the guy catch it and kind of turn a field. And then you could see that it was kind of like something happened. And then he got up and he had the ball. Oh, he got the ball out. He got the ball. Oh, somebody, yep. Satterfield, you're right. They tested Jacoby the same way they tested the other corners. And Deterby, he ran the technique perfect. Go watch Jacoby's. They run a fade route on Jacoby. Go route, fade route, whatever you want to call it. He's playing off man. He backpedals. He invites him outside and speed turns right into him. When you speed turn, you're going to turn face to face with him. The receiver's running up the sideline like this. When I speed turn, it puts me facing him on top of him. Perfect technique. Perfect technique. And I said it last year. To me, 6'1", extreme. By the way, did you see how he caught the pick? Did he catch the ball like a receiver? Oh, he caught it like he knew what to do with the rock, right? I think he's a guy that gives us depth. By the way, I heard Gentry may be back. The injury's not as bad as first thought. So I think they say it's not the shoulder that's been the issue for years. It's a stinger or something on the other side, which means he could potentially be back. As long as the depth is there, I'm not mad. I also, those of you who've been on our pod, I see Frank and some of the guys who've been Jimmy. Some of you guys have been rocking with us for years. Didn't I say it? I said as soon as Eli come back, what's gonna happen? It just is too much of a physical mismatch, right? 5'9.5" against 6'3" or 4. Expect Tennessee to do it. Expect Ole Miss to do. You guys see Ole Miss as receiver number 1? Y'all saw him. Expect them to do it. What's the guy who got him last year? And then we had the illegal formation at Alabama. Ryan Williams, whatever his name is. You expect them to do it. And I like Eli. I am of the opinion I think Eli can do what Kendall Dobie does. Yeah, he's not as thick in the legs. He has the same instincts. He has the same physicality. He probably is a little bit better coverer. He's a better cover guy, but Kendall just had a knack for being in the hole, right? In that slot. Uh-oh, I don't have my battery on. Hold on, guys. Let me plug in. I just realized I don't want to go out here while we live. But it just makes too much sense to me. To me, we're a championship caliber defense if we've got Eli as like third and medium, third and long nickel. Just makes too much sense. And what do I know, right? I'm just an old dumb guy who thinks I know football. I just feel like there's going to be games where third and medium, second and medium, teams are going to queue up an ISO on their X receiver with Eli, and it's going to be problematic. I agree. Cortland played well yesterday too. He didn't have a lot of the big mistakes that we saw some of the other guys have. Anyway, DBs, I think the lowest performing group. I think our punter. It needs to be stated that what the hell is going on. You read your newspaper clippings for a couple weeks and you think you're a stud, right? That was abso-freaking-lutely terrible. We do the Australian style punt one time, he kicks it 18 yards. He does a standard punt one time, he kicks it 23 yards. Like, what are we doing? We're keeping these guys in the game by being boneheads. The punt return, he has a very low one, right? He has the one that goes like 33 yards, but it bounces right to the guy, and boom, he takes it up there, up our hash. I believe it's our hash mark. But as equally as disappointing the punter was, our kicker. I think we may have the best kicker in America. I said this on Twitter, and I kind of was being a jerk about it, but I was also being honest. I think he's the best player on our offense. Who's better than our kicker? Dude's making 55 yarders in the middle of the net. It's not even touching the grass. It's like hitting the net. Uh, I just, I got to tell you, man, that's a huge weapon for us. When we go up 10 in that game, how much you guys felt substantially better? That it was more than a possession in one play, right? It wasn't going to make all the, you know, make the big difference. Um, yeah, Sandals a stud. Anyway, DBs, I'm gonna give them a 60. They didn't play well enough. 66. In my book, that's a failing grade. Special teams, Satania was pretty strong with his catching the ball. I think he had one decent return. He had a couple where he, got tackled pretty well. But Sandal kicking a 55-yarder in a one possession game on the road, and you're your Beamer, and you're like, damn, because like it wasn't like he barely made it, or he snuck it in there. Like, no, I think Beamer knew if we needed to do it again, he could. And of course, Beamer watched film and saw him do it against who was it? Was it Auburn or K State or Kent State? I don't remember, but he had another 55-yarder that he kicked just as true at home. So good stuff by him. Specials overall, give it a 70. I just think the punts were really bad. I also think the punt return, that one time, the kid who had messed his fingers up hurts us. Obviously, our kicker and our kickoffs were strong. I think all of them went through the end zone, or they didn't try to return any of them. I think that's Sandal too. But units all go together, right? I think a 55-yarder is really good, but three terrible punt situations, which I know BV takes punt extremely serious. Facts. Last but not least, coaching. Um, I grade differently on a curve just because BV every week is championship level coaching on defense. So I'm going to be extremely more critical to his coaching. My biggest peeve is the 22 starters. In my opinion, it cost us a touchdown. I get it. He's saying the long play, it's improving culture. The long play, it's improving retention. The long play, we have more quality depth. I get that part. All I'm saying is there's probably 4 to 6 plays out of that entire, switcheroozy that you have with 22 where the Kip needs to play over the Samuel. The RMT absolutely has to play over the PJ, and the Peyton Bowen has to play over the Hardy. Has to. Has to. Those 4 to 6 plays. We need the best guys we have on those, and that would be my critique. On offense, what I'm going to be paying attention to. And here's what I do appreciate, guys. You guys listen and apply and communicate to me, right? So now that I brought it up, it's going to be interesting to see this coming Saturday how much progression passing game we do. It's going to be interesting to see. If I were Ole Miss, I would play a lot of cover 5. If I were Ole Miss, if I'm Ole Miss, I'm going 3-man down. The fourth man is in a 2-point stand. He can be an overhang and then move to an end position. So they're in 4 eyes or a 5. You know, kind of the technique of a defensive line. They might even be in a 4-eye. That way, that fourth man can play a overhang and come to the line of scrimmage and cat and mouse the first level, the second level, and then I'm playing a ton of cover 5. Sometimes I bring them. So there's 4 guys. Sometimes I don't, and they've got 8. And all those guys are eyes in the backfield looking for Satania, running quick slants, running slant stops, running slant returns, running hitches, right? Because they put a bunch of mess in front of material at that 5 to 7 yard range. I'd have 2 safeties hanging, and every once in a while, I'd rotate to a cloud. One of my safeties are going to overload the strength of the formation or the weakness of the formation. If they're in a 3-by-1, I got one of my safeties robbing from left to right, coming across the formation. So from run to slants coming my way to screens going that way, that guy is overloading. And then my other safety is going high. I would not be surprised to see them do that. And here's why: because I don't see a ton of depth to what we do. I don't know why we don't do a running back middle screen. I don't know why we don't do misdirection one way and then tight end screen the other way. We ran it once against Ely State. It didn't work, but we tried to run it. It's on film. We have it in the playbook. He doesn't run it more. I don't know why we don't run a draw. If we have an O line who likes to give up, right, like passing lanes or rush lanes where guys are knifing through, yeah, there's going to be a couple times you run a draw and somebody's going to be there. But if you get through that first level, it's him and a backer who's in a drop. The backers are dropping into zones, or it's 1v1. That's how you make big plays. I don't know why we don't do it. I don't know why we don't do it. To me, it makes too much sense with the offensive line where our weakness is our weakness. If we run more draws, teams will think twice about pinning their ears back on 30 medium. If we run shuttle, draw, I'm just telling you, I loved the fact that Arbuckle added some rollout and half rollout. I thought that he had some RPO rollout that I thought was pretty sweet. We needed to run. We it worked, and then we didn't go back to it enough in the third and fourth quarter. He had some true rollout stuff, and he tried true rollout a little bit later in the game. I think they sack us one of the times we run it, but I'm still squarely in the Arbuckle has to prove it to me. Guys, he's 29. It's year 1. I am not saying he sucks or we need to fire him. I am holding him to a championship standard, right? During the post pod, and I will say this with my chest out: if Lincoln Riley was our offensive coordinator, we would be the best team in America with the exact same players. I believe that wholeheartedly. Not Link as our HBC. Link as the OC. His job is to get the offense prepared and put them in position to run the plays that are going to get them where they need to go. I'm even talking Link 2016, 2017. Yes, I firmly believe that. I also believe that Arbuckle is intelligent enough to see 8 weeks into the season who we are, who we aren't. I also believe Arbuckle is um, part of the guys with the rotations. I think he's saying it's stupid to have the running backs arbitrarily switch or however the hell Murray was doing it. I think he's kind of saying, hey, man, we need this guy. This is the guy we need to go with. Figure out how to tell your buddy that he's not playing or he's going to have limited reps. I do believe Arbuckle's there, but I believe Arbuckle's smart enough to finish the thought I was going to say, to see who we are and who we aren't and press the buttons of who we are. I think he made it clear to me he stopped doing so much delay stuff, stopped doing so much slow developing zone stuff where guys could get crossface really quickly, and we did more quick hitter stuff. He did some duo blocking. Guard center moving the D tackle, not covering up. That is a gap style technique versus a zone style technique where I got a hat on the hat. When you hear hat on the hat, that's zone. Hat on the hat, run your feet. When you hear Mackey, or it wasn't me, damn it, O-line, move him out of there. That's a gap. We want to cave. We want to cave a side of that line and then kick out the other way and create a natural crease, right? We saw some of that, and we saw Blaylock and X-Rob get up in there. Coaching overall, 77. Defense is obviously higher. Defense is carrying the weight. The all 22 is worth a -6 to me, just every game, because it could cost us 6 points. But the offense just doesn't have enough depth. And I don't want to hear that we're holding stuff back. Bullshit. Bullshit. For half that game, that's a one possession game. And we didn't have enough comfort to say we're saving this for Ole Miss. No, I don't buy that for a second. To me, Arbuckle's still learning how to develop an in-game plan with adjustments and convey his vision week to week so that guys are very clear on what to do, expectations, and how to be successful. Um anyway, I've been on an hour and a half. Let's do a little Q&A. Anybody has any questions they want to ask, put them in the, if you did something, I mean, I kind of been peeking just periodically, but I have not been specifically thinking about questions. I'll take 2 or 3 questions. I'll go until 1:30 exactly. So I got 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah, we did give Texas a freebie. The difference in the game is Arch made plays and Arbuckle gave, I mean, and Mateer gave away plays. Difference in the game. 100%. Oh, yeah. That one kind of pissed me off. Any questions, guys, before we jump out of here? Let me see if there's any good. Cannon got Y in space, or force a linebacker out of the box. They did support, forcing light boxes, secret sauce. Yeah, but you know what? What teams have been doing is just zoning him up. So again, even if they're playing man on the outside, they just play a zone. The way you address a flex Y is you zone him up and you just play a yard or two inside, eyes on the run first. So it's backer rules, and then you turn and run. Right. So the safety has to hold and then you carry. Right. And so it doesn't the box is light, but the overhang has run responsibility first. So it's not like he's not going to see what's happening prior to a run. But yeah, you could put him in a compromising situation for sure. By the way, we've done that. It's definitely helped. Uh, the problem is we have to show we can run the ball with him in there, and a lot of times that requires him to be responsible for a block, and then we know sometimes he misses the blocks. Is Ole Miss the best offense this defense has faced? Yes, but not even a question for sure. This would be the best offense. They've got really good. First of all, the scheme is really good. It's complex. They're going to give us a lot of looks. Number two, the quarterback is a dual threat. He's probably a 4'6" guy. He's 5'11". So there's going to be opportunities for us in terms of height, and he's a smaller guy, so we're not going to have to worry about him bouncing off of some of our backers and stuff. If we get him, I think we got him. But Kiffin knows how to. Kiffin's like Sark, man. He knows how to draw stuff up. He's gonna get you with a couple of things, get you rolling to sleep, and he's gonna sneak a wheel behind you. He's gonna misdirect and have his fastest guy on your smallest guy, and he's gonna take the odds. He's gonna overload the running game, and he's gonna get those. He's gonna have 2 tight ends coming across the formation and leading up in the hole, and really having more blockers than or excuse me, more blockers than defenders. Ole Miss is going to be by far the best offense we faced this year, but will not be the third best defense we faced. Auburn's defense is better. South Carolina's defense is better. Michigan's defense is better than obviously Texas's defense. I think they are the worst SEC defense we will face this. They will be the worst defense we face. It'll be close. LSU is pretty bad too. LSU is, I'm telling you, I think that's going to be the easiest game. If so long as LSU doesn't beat us with their decal or big plays. They've got receivers who they ISO, they can go take it to the house. But if we play sound football and aren't scared, I think we beat them by 2 scores. What can we do to the running versus to do the running? I think what we've queued up is okay. Just add some wrinkles to what we're already doing. I think the rotation really helps. I think running some more gap style blocking schemes where we are being aggressive instead of trying to be finesse helped last week. And so, yeah, I think we should expect our running game to have some level of success so long as it isn't extremely basic. If we run the exact same stuff that they're going to practice on film this week, we'll be in trouble. If we have some wrinkles where we fold instead of reach, we're going to bounce it a little bit outside, we're going to show action and really throw a pop pass, we're making guys think, we should be okay. And so it'll be interesting to see how Arbuckle shows up. He'd like to see me on the staff. Yeah, well, first of all, I'm not going anywhere until I finish. I sell my business. So give me another year, two tops. Um, then I think I am going to jump back into coaching for sure. I will be coaching, and I don't want to coach high school anymore. I will be coaching college somewhere. But I'd say 1 year or 2 years for sure. And the reason I want to sell my business is because I'll be able to afford to volunteer. The secret sauce is having relationships, and I have them. There's 3 or 4 head coaches. If I said, "Hey, dude, I want to join your staff as a volunteer for a year and earn my way, and you don't have to pay me anything," you might take care of me on the travel. Or I mean, they've got budget for kind of like the op stuff, but like I don't want a salary. I want to show that I'm a value add. That's how you get in. That's the secret sauce to do it. And then once you've shown your value, you garner, right, uh, a position. So yeah, let me, I sell my business. I'll be all right. I won't need to work ever again. That's why I've been running my business for the last 7 years. Sell my business in a year or so. Um, by the way, I built a 7-figure business, multiple 7-figure business. So yeah, doing pretty well where I'm at. That way I can coach because I want to, not chasing a paycheck to feed my family, if you will. Missouri's a game that I keep telling people, and I don't want to put a bad omen on us. I don't. I don't want to put a bad omen on us because damn it, Missouri's a part of the revenge tour too, and we get their ass at home. We're gonna win the game because we're at home. But I'm telling people, Missouri is a harder matchup than, in my opinion, LSU. LSU struggles to protect the quarterback. Their quarterback is not mobile like the other guys we're going to play, and LSU is struggling to run the football. Missouri ain't, and their quarterback is more mobile, and their defense is pretty. What's the name of their dang coach? I hate him, and I don't hate very many people. He's annoying to me. He seems like a dork or a jerk or like a just one of those guys. Ugh, what's his name? What's that guy's name? Drink or something like that. Is that his name? Drink. Some similar to that. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I don't like that guy. To me, he doesn't have a lot of class. To me, he looks like Bush League or bootleg, something like that. Let's see. OU leads the SC and TFLs. Yes, we also lead America in 3-and-outs. America. We also lead America in yards per play. America. Defense is pretty salty, bro. How does Missouri game look? Yeah, I have a little concerns there. Anyway, guys, I got a minute. I got an hour and a half. You guys are dope. I appreciate 111. You guys stand to the end, which is wild. I'm going to say this one more time. Be on the lookout for DMack's locker room, and then be on the lookout for the Chalk Talk. My goal is to Barry and I will do a pre-post for the most part. Drinks, yeah, that's a drink witch. But yeah, I told you his name was Drinks. But Barry and I will do a pre-post. Barry's gonna, I believe, do some analysis as well, where if you guys look on X, he's got some pretty cool posts up, and he's got a lot of traction, which I'm happy for him. But I am going to do one a week where I'll talk. All right, so I'll pull up the whiteboard and we'll draw some X and O stuff up just to kind of teach concepts. I may create a hey, I'm gonna on Twitter, hey, I'm gonna be chalk talking. What do you guys want to talk about? And people post 3 or 4 different things. And I don't imagine it'll be anything the locker room. Nah, bro, I was an offensive guy. I'm a defensive guy at heart, if you can't tell. Yeah, I played defense my entire life, but yeah, man, I caught the football at OU, so we ain't calling nothing the locker room because we unlocked around these parts. We we making it happen. Nah, I'm serious. I'm actually being serious. But chalk talk, whiteboard, and then I for sure feel like I'll be able to learning this program, just queue up 5 plays, timestamp, and I will have maybe I'll do like 4 that I will do, and then again I'll go on X and say, hey guys, what are 3 or 4 plays you guys want to discuss? And if people have good plays or pivotal plays, or hey, what happened here? What the heck was I didn't get what happened, right? I'll do my best based upon camera and all that good stuff to walk you guys through. Maybe it was a coverage, maybe it was a bust, maybe it was something that they set up plays prior and like, look, no guys, what they were doing was this, right? Again, it just brings me back to the Keegan play. That play, everybody's in a vacuum. It's like Mateer sucks, but Mateer literally saw the exact same defense early in the game and went to the opposite side. And Satania's like, bro, I was open. It's when he threw the first pick to Muhammad or whoever it was. And then later on in the game, they're in the exact same stuff. Of course, he's going to look to the side where the time before it was open. Like, and then the offensive line is in a quick set. So he doesn't have enough time to look to the play side that he chose and then go backside. He just doesn't have time. And so for the people who are out of context, like, look, it's perfect. This is his worst read of the like, no, bro. He picked a side. If you look, he looked at a fade and then snapped to the in cut. And if you look, Satania didn't just stay on the hash. He snapped it in because the safety was robbing. Everybody did what they were supposed to do. We just didn't pick the right side. And I think those are the things that need to be nuanced out uh, a little more. He said live on X. Is that possible? Can you do video live on X? I know you can do like the little chat rooms, but can you do live video on X? Is that possible? If it is, I'd consider it. I think that'd be dope. I appreciate your Bandles production. Good stuff. Barry and I just try to do the best we can. We're not trying to, I don't want to work for the university. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not out here trying to kiss butts. I'm telling the truth. I know the standard that was asked of me when I played, and I know the head coach was in the same room in meetings that I was in when I was there. And he's won championships since. So I know he knows. I just want to hold that same standard to our guys. That's all I want to do. If you don't like it, I don't care, because I have a good time, and there's a lot of people that say they love it, and I appreciate them. Guys, anyway, 10 thoughts. We broke down all the position groups. Looking forward to adding some stuff to the kitty. I bought some new equipment, so hopefully I look a little brighter. I think I got like 20K or something, 2K, whatever it is, 4K. Yeah, this is like 80. So you might be able to see my ingrown hairs or something next time. But guys, you guys are awesome. I appreciate the Sooner fans. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you guys in a couple of days. Boomer. We should beat Ole Miss by, we're playing at home, by 10. We'll beat them by 10. Good night. God bless. Take care.